Hey, Shalom Akim, giving all praises, honor, and glorification to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rucha Kudash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect. All right, so this is another edition of Esau's Perpetual Hatred. Still going into the book of 100 Years of Lynchings by Ralph Ginsburg. Okay, we're going to read maybe 3 articles and get into some scriptures. This is from the editorial from the Literary Digest, written on January 31st, 1931. The name of the article, Mysteries is the Shame. Almost all Maryville, 3,000 strong, it is reported, turned out for the Feast of Blood. A strong wind was blowing, and the little schoolhouse with the Negro bound on the ridge pool and plentifully soaked with gasoline, made a spectacular blaze. In 10 minutes, it was over. Schoolhouse and Negro were reduced to ashes. It was the first lynching of 1931, and Mysteries is the Shame. The Negro had been on his way to the courthouse for a preliminary trial when he was seized by the mob, according to a dispatch from the St. Louis Star. Ample preparations for the funeral pyre had been made. All the furniture had been removed from the schoolhouse, and the Negro, showing remarkable coolness, was made to climb a ladder to the roof. Then a hole was cut in the roof, and through this the Negro was bound to the ridgepole with a 10-foot chain, his head hanging down one side of the roof and his feet the other side. One of the mob poured gasoline over the prostrate man. Gasoline was then sprinkled inside the building, and all was ready for the match. After the fire, the crowd, which had been looking on in silence, walked slowly away. Thus was avenged the honor of a 19-year-old schoolteacher who several weeks before had been confessedly mistreated and done to death by the Negro on whom the mob wreaked its vengeance. This is from the New York Sun, written on November 9th, 1931. And it reads here, and the name of the article is Doubt of Guilt Found in Most of 1930s Lynchings. Atlanta, Georgia, November 9th. Conclusions that 2 of the 21 persons lynched in 1930 certainly were innocent, and 11 others possibly so were advanced today by the Southern Commission on the study of lynching, along with a criticism of hasty trials and legal lynchings. Okay, I'm gonna read that again. Okay, it says, Atlanta, Georgia, written on November 9th. Conclusions that 2 of the 21 persons lynched in 1930 certainly were innocent, and 11 others possibly so. Okay, were advanced today by the Southern Commission on the study of lynchings, along with the criticism of hasty trials and legal lynchings. The commission is listed as findings of a year's survey that there is real doubt of guilt of at least half the victims of mob violence. 2. Fewer than 1/4 of the persons lynched since 1890 have been accused of assaults upon white women. Okay? Fewer than 1/4 of the persons lynched since 1890 have been accused of assaults upon white women. Okay, so you Edomite women are not innocent. Okay. Verse 3. 3. Claims That lynchings are necessary because courts do not convict Negroes for their crimes are fallacious. 4. Mob leaders can be identified without difficulty, although grand jury indictments seldom are brought. Lynching is most frequent per tens of thousands of Negro population in sparsely settled areas. There is direct relationship between lack of education, low economic status, and lynching danger. The report was made public here today by the Commission's chairman, George Milton, president and editor of the Chattanooga News. Regarding offenses that resulted in lynchings, the commission said one man was lynched solely because he had offended political opponents, and another to prevent his appearance as a witness in a serious court case against white men. In some cases, the commission said it found reason to suspect victims had been deliberately framed for purposes of concealment or revenge. Georgia, wow, Georgia led in contributing to the 3,603 recorded lynchings since 1889 with 465. Mississippi had 464, Texas 364, and Louisiana 349. Let me read that again. In some cases, the commission said it found reason to suspect victims had been deliberately framed for purposes of concealment or revenge. Georgia led in contributing to the 3,603 recorded lynchings since 1889, with 465. Georgia, Mississippi had 464, Texas 264, and Louisiana 349. The commission concluded that lynching, while decreasing during the last 3 decades, was becoming more exclusively a Southern phenomenon, with 97% of the country's lynchings occurring in the South in recent years. Quick precept. Let's go in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1 and verse 4. Therefore the law is slacked. Okay. The concordance for slacked is powerless. Okay. The law is slacked. And judgment, justice, okay, doth never go forth. For the wicked doth compass about the righteous. Okay. Compass, the concordance is surround. Okay. The wicked doth surround, compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. Okay, and wrong means perverse, false judgment, right? Because the wicked is in power. Okay, and we the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American, are under the rule of the wicked, Esau, Edom. This is This is from the New York Sun, June 14, 1932. It says, Sheriff and Negro killed, 6 deputies wounded by mob. In Winsboro, South Carolina, on June 14th, okay, 1932. 6 deputies were wounded, and Sheriff Hood was killed today when they fought a desperate battle in front of the courthouse to keep a mob from lynching a Negro prisoner. Despite the posse's fight, the Negro was wrested from them, and the infuriated crowd shot him to death. Let me read one more. Okay. This is from the Montgomery Advertiser on April 26, 1959. The name of the article: 4,733 mob action victims since 1982. So, sorry, 1882. Tuskegee reports. Okay. 4,733 mob action victims since 1882. Okay. So from 1959 to 1882, there have been 4,733 lynchings or mob actions. Okay. Tuskegee, Alabama, April 25th. While lynchings have about reached the vanishing point in recent years, Tuskegee Institute records show 4,733 persons have died from mob action since 1882, except for 1955 when three lynchings were reported in Mississippi. None has been recorded at Tuskegee since 1951. In 1945, 1947, 1951, only one case per year was reported. The most recent case reported by the Institute was a lynching was that of Emmett Till, 14, a Negro who was beaten, shot to death, and thrown into a river at Greenwood, Mississippi. August 28, 1955, he was accused of making ugly remarks to or whistling at a white woman. Two white men were acquitted of his death after a trial which attracted international attention. For a period of 65 years, ending in 1947, at least one lynching was reported each year. The most for any year was 231 in 1892. 231 lynching in 1892. From 1882 to 1901, lynchings averaged more than 150 a year. Since 1924, lynchings have been on a marked decline, never more than 30 cases which occurred in 1926. Among the incidents, other than the Till case since 1984, are these: George W. Lee, 51, Negro shot to death on May 7, 1955 at Abizzoni, Humphreys County, Mississippi, after he refused to withdraw his name from voting list. Lamar D. Smith, 63, shot down on lawn of Lincoln County Courthouse at Brookhaven, Mississippi, August 6, 1955. Smith has been encouraging others of his race to qualify as voters. Okay, now let's bring out some precepts, and we'll start off in the book of Obadiah. All right. Obadiah, the first verse, it says, "The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, concerning Edom." Who is Edom? Edom is the nation of the Edomites, okay? Esau is Edom. Esau is the progenitor of the so-called white people today, okay? It says, "We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Okay, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised." Okay, because Esau, Edom, is going to be brought to shame. Okay, for his works. Okay, for his deeds. All right, the Lord is going to make him bare. Okay, uncover everything that he has hidden and all the works that he has done. They're going to be brought forth before everyone. Okay. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. Verse 10. Salakia. "For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever." Right? For his violence against his brother Jacob, we just read some reports of the amounts of lynchings that they have done, okay, against the Israelites, okay, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American, the tribes of Israel, the Judites, okay, and the tribe of Gad, Ephraim, all right, and the rest of the native and the so-called native and Hispanic tribes, Okay. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Okay. Verse 15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. Right? Because the Lord remembers everything. Okay. The Lord does not forget. Okay. Ecclesiastes 3 and 15. That which has been is now, and that which is to be has already been. And Yahweh Bashim Yahushua requires that which is past, so what they have done. The Lord requires it. Okay. The Lord does not forget. And as it is written, go to the book of Galatians, chapter 6 and 7. It reads, Be not deceived, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is not mocked. The Most High is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. All right, so he has sowed violence. Well, therefore, by violence, what will he be trodden down? Will he be taken down? Colossians 3 and 25. But he that doeth wrong shall receive for the wrong which he hath done, and there is no respect of persons. Okay, but he that doeth wrong shall receive for the wrong which he hath done, and there is no respect of persons. Okay, so Esau is going to reap what he sowed. Okay, Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, said the Lord, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passes out, and him that returneth. Mount Seir represents the government of Esau. Okay, which they were behind the lynchings. Okay, the mob actions. They were behind that. Okay, all right, because if they wanted it, they could have stopped it, but it was not their intentions to stop the lynchings. Okay, because their hatred is perpetual. Okay, all right. So, as it says, a man shall receive for the wrong which he has done. So Esau, Edom, get ready to receive the judgment of Yahweh Shem Shai. Okay. So, hey, I want to end off this lesson by giving all praise, honor, and glorification to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Achar Kodash. Belongs to the pastors, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect.